Jacobs. We all friends and family back in New York, but they were all stage actors in the early '70s. When after Big Sweetback's Badass Song broke out,
Hmm.
all the actors from New York, the state who had been working stage off Broadway, started moving out west because these black exploitation movies, there was money now being put into it in the 71, 72, 70, 71, and they started, and naturally the producers out here got the benefit of, even though they were inexperienced film actors, these are experienced New York stage actors. You see what I'm saying? So they
Okay, I
had to
got
be
it.
taught, right? They just had to be taught how to film on the cheap and everything. And so a lot of them, I had friends down here from my family, so I came down here to stay with Lincoln Kilpatrick and his family, Eric. Me, him, and Jake had all studied together. It's 13, 14 in Harlem at the HARUAC, Harlem Youth Unlimited. And I stayed with them. Lincoln had just got a role. This is 71, 72, as Charlton Heston in the, you remember this movie called Soylent Green?
Yes,
Soylent Green is people. Charlton Heston, he did that in the
I
Amiga,
remember.
and he chose Lincoln to be his sidekick, first black actor to be sidekick like that, besides Bill Cosby, in a major film. Him and Charleston and Lincoln Kilpatrick. Okay, so I stayed with him and his family, and they didn't get my footing. But my cousin, I'm at her house. She said, "We dance on Soul Train. You want to go?" I said, "Hell yeah!" So I went to Soul Train as a guest. I called my mother, said I'm on Soul Train, and 2 weeks later, I'm at the Proudburg restaurant at a dance, and at that time, Dan Brown and Dick Griffey, talent coordinator, went out to parties and clubs to find unique dancers. That's how they got some of those talent
I
men.
always wondered, like,
Yeah.
did they
No
have
audition,
to, like,
no audition.
interview or?
No
Okay.
auditions, right? If they saw you someplace in the early days when it was just getting started, yeah. Okay, they had auditions because somebody got the idea to do that. And uh my man went along with it reluctantly and became the main reason people watch the show is the dancers, Don
Right.
Caniglia. Okay. So, I'm on this, I'm dancing, and they come up to me and say, "Would you like to be on Soul Train?" They know I was there as a guest. So that's how I became a member of the Soul Train gang proper, basically.
Okay, now let me ask you this. So, what era was your time in Soul Train dancers?
73, 74.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
wow. So you
Hey,
just
that was
happened to be in
Shabba-Doo
the
was
right
on,
place at the right
rerun,
time.
Shabba-Doo rerun. The
Yes.
were born, Don Campbell. They came out of that. They left, I think, just as I joined the show in 73. They had started to become popular 71, 72, and they spun off and became their own act. You see what I'm saying? But that was the era that they came out of 72, 73. And they started national television and tours and stuff like that. They were the first Soul Train dancers to spin off like that. There were others later on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me ask you something. When you were in the midst of it, did you know how large and what an impact it that Soul Train and Don Cornelius was going to have in the music
No
industry, or
way.
did you think that it was just a fad or something?
No way. We do was revolutionary, and it
Yeah.
was that's interesting. See, I'm from New York, and just before I joined the Air Force, I said actually when I came out and I moved to San Francisco, I was part of a girl who had studied with me and Lincoln and Jake at the HARUAC was doing a show called Rapping on the Roof, which had nothing to do with rapping. It's 1970. It was
Hmm.
just the name of the show because again, DJs rap in New York. So when you said rapping back then, you're identifying something. This was just a group of kids, the premise of the show, who met up on the rooftop in Harlem. But whenever a new singer, Curtis Mayfield, this particular instance, Five Steps, will come out with new records, and they come to Harlem, they gotta come and visit the rooftop gang and do their song. So it wasn't a
Hmm.
dance show, but we were the rooftop, and one of the guys that dropped out to do a Broadway play, and they called me and said, "They need somebody right now. They don't have time to put our casting call because we're shooting for Christmas." And so I came down, and I just had learned Mayfield's "The Making of You" because I was always a singer, and that was a beautiful song when it comes. Just come out, add a little sugar, honeysuckle, and I knew it. I could sing it falsetto. When I came down and they told me Curtis was there, they said, "You're gonna have to shave your mustache." Because I read the script. They like you have to say it because I even at that age had a mustache. And then they said Curtis on. I said, yeah, he's got a new song, and I sang the whole song. And everybody in the room, producers, let me sing the whole song note for note. Make the makings of you. It's surprised that I knew it, but that to show that Cynthia, my lady friend, had called somebody who was uniquely talented You see what I'm saying? Who wasn't just somebody she knew on the street. So they gave me the role, and I did that just before. It was a TV show I did just before I came, and it was produced by Zebra Productions. It was in New York City, the first minority and black and white company. That's why they call themselves Zebra. To produce, they produced by Coca-Cola, because I did the Coca-Cola commercial in the middle of the show, and it was the first company like that to exist in New York to get a spot on major television, major market like that. It was WOR TV, and
I remember WORT. Yeah.
we had a good ratings. Curtis Mayfield, the Five Stair Steps. They did Ooh Child and Feist the Lights. We had the mayor of Newark, Kenneth Gibson, who was, I think, if I remember now, the first black mayor. You see what I'm saying, of Newark. He was the guest on the show, and the 3 Degrees. I think they sang "One Monkey Don't Stop No Show" or something like that. And but I think they were also probably produced by. I know Curtis was producing Five Steps at that time. In fact, Curtis Murphy wrote Ooh Child. So it was very, for me, a launch pad. When I came here and I got on Soul Train, I said, "Wow, this is beautiful. A black man producing the show," and
Yes.
and it was already popular. We had no inkling it was going to be, but we did know, and this is one of the connections I'll make later, that Soul Train started a wave of creativity every Saturday across America and then across the world, with kids who watched and then tried to do those unique dance moves and stuff.
Yes.
So I attribute the break dancing, the early, because pop locking actually, it came from Don Campbell, who was a Soul Train Gang member before he started the Lockers. So pop locking actually did filter into the mainstream along with break dancing, and it basically, all of that influence from kids experimenting in the mirror on Saturdays after they watch
Yes.
led to in my estimation, from 73, 74, 75, all of that led to young people creating their own stuff. You know what I'm saying? One day I'm gonna be on
Yes.
Soul Train. One day I'll be on Soul. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And then
Right.
the clothing that the Soul Train dancers started wearing later, especially the Lockers with the big hats,
Yeah.
all of that influenced early hip hop, in my opinion. You see what I'm saying? Because
Yes,
I
it
was
did.
part of it to see it happening. Breakdancing didn't take off as quickly out here, because they had breaking in 73, 74. I met some of the original B-boys in New York now. They're friends of mine, 73, 74, 75, all of that. And they didn't do all the moves they do now, but they were the first to break doing the break beats of records. And that's why they were called B-boys. And it wasn't breaking, they would call it burning. They were trying to burn you on a dance
I
floor.
thought it was B-boys meaning breaking.
That
Okay.
later on in the 70s and 80s, but the original term B-boys and B-girls were burners. When they come there, they wait
Burners.
just for the beat, the middle of the record. You know what I'm saying? When the beat comes in, that's why certain records were popular, and the DJ would just play the beats back, and that's when they would flood the floor. You see what I'm saying? Trying to burn you trying to burn them, and again, they creating stuff at home during the week to get out and be. This is what the B-boys, they don't dance during the regular parts of the record. The other people come to the club, they do, but then the B-boys and B-girls come out and they do their thing, and they know they're putting on a show. So they do
Right.
things that the regular dancers don't do. So that's how it
Yeah.
became popular. First of all, for all those fancy moves and stuff came to be known as breaking. But that didn't take off as fast out here, because in 82, 83, well, Don Campbell started pop locking. So you had pop locking groups from the 70s through the 80s. It became intrinsic in LA black culture to do pop locking. You know what I'm saying? Just like back in the 40s and 50s when I was growing up, not in the 40s, but 50s, every nigga knew how to tap dance or had some moves like Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah.
Or could do wop in the hallways, like
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
all that kind of stuff. And we did all that kind of stuff and learned harmony. And so we put a lot of energy in and stuff like that. So it's the same thing with this generation when breakdance came out. All those moves led to an evolution of moves, which is modern breakdance. All those
Okay. Wait, brother. I gotta stop you
Go ahead.
because I'm not like everybody else. I'm gonna
Hmm.
put you on the spot. Are you ready?
Yes.
You mentioned a song that you sang,
Hmm.
"The Makings of You."
Yes.
You mentioned that song, right?
Curtis Mayfield.
Well, I'm gonna need you to sing it a cappella for me.
I
Oh
said
yes, I told
word.
you I'm different.
I said it in
I'm
a different key.
different.
I know it in a different key, but I still know all the words of it. Certain songs that you learn when you young or whatever, or you was in love or whatever.
Wait, you're
You
not gonna
never
sing
really
it for
know
me?
the words,
You're
huh?
not gonna sing it for me.
Add a little sugar, honeysuckle, and a great big expression of happiness. Boy, you could miss with a dozen roses. Such would astound you. The joy of children laughing around you. These are the makings of you. And it's true, the makings of you.
You know what?
Love of
Oh
all
no.
mankind should reflect some sign of these words I try to recite. They are close, but not quite. Almost impossible to do. Reciting the makings of you. Mouth got dry, Queen. I'm sorry.
Wait, he hurried up with that juice. Like, hurry up,
Beautiful
1 minute.
tribute to
Okay,
black women.
1 minute. Okay,
Beautiful
1 minute. I
tribute
love
to
it.
black women. Okay, that's a song you think of black women that I always think of that doesn't say black, but we know who he was saying to. You know what I'm saying?
Baby, you know we know. You
Yes,
know we
yes,
know.
yes, Queen.
Now
So,
let's talk.
mhm,
Now, you know I'm a little different.
mhm,
I've watched all your other videos from a
mhm.
million other, radio and DJs and everything. But I want to ask things that maybe they were afraid to ask, such as when you were a dancer,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
Soul Train and everything.
mhm.
Who did you really have a crush on?
Pat,
What was it? The lady with the long hair?
Pat Davis. Pat Davis. You just scroll Pat Davis. She's the most unique and creative dancer on the show. Well, we had Demeter Joe Freeman and other people, but Pat Davis, she's the one that always had the flower in her hair. And you'll know her right away coming down the line because she'll do some way out stuff with her arms stuck out. You know, that's Pat Davis. He was such a creative. This is the thing about Soul Train. See, I was a member of Harlem Unlimited, which was a bunch of some of the most creative teenagers in Harlem. We could do everything: dance, sing, we put on our own shows. We did all the Langston Hughes and James Weldon Johnson poems. We could tell them by heart. I've known rivers. I've known rivers ancient as the world and older than the flow of human blood in human veins. My soul has grown deep like those rivers. We performed all over New York. We were Harlem Youth Unlimited was bad. So I come from a state, my family's urban. I come from a bunch of bad teenagers, and being part of Soul Train was the same feeling. We could all dance. You see what I'm saying? You were on that show because you were one of the baddest dancers that producers have seen. And in your own way, your ego was submerged because everybody was there. Do you
I was
understand
wondering
what
about that.
I'm talking
I
about?
always wondered, like, was there a competition? Like,
Always.
okay, who's gonna get the spotlight this
You
week?
hit
And
the
like,
head because that's the main thing that drove Soul Train. All those original characters and things that started coming. If you came up with something original
yes.
and Don saw it, you get 10 to 15 seconds of camera time, or you get put on one of the rides.
Mm,
You think what I'm saying? But the
yep.
pressure was on every week to come up. And everybody look at Pat Davis and Demeter and just go, because they stayed on the risers. Okay, there were
Yeah.
certain people, like that. But that was what drove the creativity on the show. We didn't get paid. We got a bucket of fried chicken, and we got to meet all these stars and stuff. And that's why later some of the dancers went on to choreograph some of the biggest
Yes.
in the business. That was their direct connection. And so Marvin Gaye met the woman that broke up his marriage, made him record "Hear My Dear" on Soul Train. She was a
Oh
soul.
my God.
It's
Are
a
you
way
serious?
story. Yeah, there's a whole story behind that. She was 17. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing. But see, back then, Jim Brown was going with some. He went on cover of Jet in a pink outfit with this girl who was under 18. It wasn't a big thing in the sense that these are stars, and the girl was 17, so that's close enough. Society was different back then. You see what I'm saying? And they all knew niggas was lucky to have a pretty girl like young that your man likes to be in control. If you have a woman, let's say like yourself, professional woman, to some men, not me, but to some
Not
it's
me.
intimidating. You'd be intimidating because you see what I'm saying. You're probably business oriented. You know things where someone can't just come and tell you any old bull about. You see what I'm saying? You're seasoned,
Yes.
a seasoned woman. So it's easier when you got a young girl who's got you your stars in your eyes. You know, say I'm the way a lot of girls wish they were. That's the way they look at it. They be taken care of. You know what I'm saying? Some of them, their first time having a man with some money in those situations. So it was a whole different thing back then. But
But
anyway,
it's just so amazing that he actually threw away his wife for a 17-year-old. Oh my gosh.
well,
The things you
such
learn.
situations, the P is powerful, sweetheart.
I get it. I get it. You know what? Listen.
It works both ways.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying, but we gotta admit, a man is a man. You know what I mean? There was something. I'm sure. See, people that are stars, they meet a lot of women. So if there's something about this girl or whatever, you see what I'm saying? She must really be special.
She
Somehow.
gotta be bad to the bone.
That's
Because
what I'm saying, right?
look,
So we'll never know. We'll never know.
half.
But we can assume
Listen.
it was something special. You see what I'm saying? In those situations. But
Listen, all I know and all I gotta say on it is half. Speaking of, y'all, I'm gonna cue up this music because I think some of you may have danced to this in your time and you probably didn't even know who it was.
Everybody, don't you know it's time to party? Everybody, I get you thinking it's time to party. Oh, who's this, y'all? Oh, who's that? I said it's Disco Daddy and Captain Rap. We're just two bad brothers, and that's a fact. We got us one fantastic act. We're gonna take it to the winners, gonna take it to the walls, gonna rock till the sweat roll down your jaw. It's Disco Daddy and Captain Rap, steady socking soul, back to back. We all know there's a terrible two. We got a brand new dance that'll keep you cool. From east to west, you know we're making our rounds. Telling all the party people it's time to throw down. Set everybody up on your toes. It's a funky new dance called a Gigolo. And if you don't know how to do it, and you wanna know how, then the funky Captain Rap is gonna show you right now. Everybody in the house, are you ready to rock to a rap that's sizzling hot? I'm the C-A-P, the T-A-N, with a rap so sweet you run and tell your friend. I'm one of a kind, I'm the genuine. Say the lone front runner, leave the others behind. Cause I'm a silver tongue rap with the cold MC. The man on the mic who holds the key. I get the people in the house all on the floor, make it shake it and I break it like never before. So let's take the groove right to the sound. You got to get on up, you can get on down. But you know by now that I'm the best around. When I'm a blowing and I'm flowing to the funky sound. I said a hit one and a hot one and you're doing your best. Rock it out, and we'll do the rest. My rap is over, I'ma give it all back to the man with the mouth, and that's the fact. I said you wiggle and you waddle like a weighted bird. Oh, Disco the word. From the north and from the south, you know I come here from far near. With the man with the mouth on the beat, y'all. I'm see y'all. Get to the beat, y'all. To the beat, y'all. To the beat, y'all. To the bigger bad funky beat, y'all. Now it's a humping and a thumping and a rocking affair. I said I'm Disco Daddy and I'm glad you're here. You don't know me, but I know you. You got to get on down. You got to do that, dude. I'm gonna do you. And then I'm turning you on. That's a Go Daddy's just getting warm. Gonna jam it all night. Gonna keep it live. Gonna rock real hard, and that's no job. So if you come on inside and let me rock you once, you're gonna come back and you want a whole bunch to say Disco Daddy rapping just for fun. And my rap is sweet like a honey bun. Oh, you say you better get loose. Gonna rock to the rhythm like a long neck goose. Now the people back east, what's the way to go? Now the people up west, go for what you know. To the beat, y'all. To the beat. To the beat, y'all. To the beat. To the beat. That's big bad funky beat. So if you're ready to party and you're ready to go, everybody in the house say Gigolo, Gigolo. Gigolo, Gigolo. Now you're rocking and rolling and you do it with a twist. That's a Gigolo, y'all. And you do it like this. Just shift your shoulders from side to side. Put your hammer down and let your body rock. Now the music's gonna put you in a funky mood. Put your nose in the air, cop an attitude. And if you're getting on down with all your might, just rock your head from left to right. Now put your boogie shoes on and forget your blues. Let's jump into this Gigolo groove. Get freak, y'all. With the beat, y'all. Just rock it on out, get up out of your seat. Then once again, There ain't no time out and ain't no rest. So rock it out, y'all, cause you're rocking with the best. I'm gonna run it on down till you're running out of breath. Cause I'm the king of the rap, and I'm doing it to death like this, y'all, like that. I said it's getting too hot to kick back. We're gonna rock to the rhythm of the early light. Hey, Captain Rap, are you feeling all right?
Say stomp your feet and then you clap your hands. I'ma take you to that promised land. I'm Captain Rap and I'm blowing my horn. Been a rockin' sensation since the day I was born. I'm the Dr. Rap and with a PhD that'll make you fly so easily. I've been chopping down trees and busting down doors to get you freaks out on the floor. Said I'm in like Flint, better than Freddy. We're gonna get down and rock you real dirty. Put your hand together now, let's party it down. You didn't come here to just stand around. To all the ladies in the house, what's the way to go? All the fellas in the house, go for what you know. To the beat, to the beat, to the beat, to the beat. That big bad funky beat. I'm the man, the thunder, the one to see. When you're rocking to the rhythm and the melody. The captain is here to take his stand. I ain't got no time to take no chance. Said I'm here for one reason, let me knock on wood. Grab the cowboys out your body and make you feel real good. Let's take it to the east.
Let's take it to the west.
Let's give it to the one who rocks the rest.
I like this, y'all, like that. I said it's getting too hot to kick back. I'm from east to west, you know, I am known as a man who gets down to the bone. And if you never see me do it and you're wondering how, Disco Daddy is ready to rock right now. So if you come out the party and you're ready to do it, just to jiggle low down, put your funky mind to it. Now I only got a minute just to make my point. I'm the funky man with the serious joint. By day I sleep from 9 to 5, but then at night I'm all the way live. I said a yabba dabba do and just a little dabba do you. Disco Daddy's gonna really rock it to you. Then I want to get you going, you can go for what you know. All you gotta do now is jiggle low. I don't watch the clock, don't watch the clock. I just get on down, cause it's time to rock. I don't watch the clock, don't watch the clock. I said, come on everybody, let's take it to the top. I'm gonna rock you right down to your knees, cause I'm Disco Daddy and I aim to please. Now I made you scream and I made you shout, and the funky got the rapper's gonna rock you out.
Got a rap so good that'll make you cry. Put emotion in your body, raise your arms in the sky. I'ma stomp down sweet, hip to the beat. Rockin', rollin', rapping treat. Like Mighty Joe Young and a man called Flash. I'm guaranteed to reach the top of the class. Put your seatbelt on and let down your flap. You're gonna take a ride with Captain Rap. What we got going here is a celebration. And from town to town, I'm gonna shock the nation. Gonna rap my stuff till I know it's good. And everybody good. Till I'm Captain Rap, and I'ma lay my word. I'm here to stake my claim with all the pretty girls. We gonna speak on the clever stage with a rap so sweet that'll captivate. Now the people down south, what's the way to go? And the people up north, go for what you know. To the beat, y'all, to the beat, to the beat, y'all, to the beat, to the beat. That big bad funky beat. So if you're throwing a party and you don't know what to do, call
Disco Daddy
and Captain Rap too. And while you're huffing and a puffing, wanna make it clear, we the best two rappers in the atmosphere. And while you scream and shout, I'm here to let you know that the captain is in the microphone. I'm just smooth rapping, hand clapping, toe tapping, earthquake and real shaking, fast talking, money making, rapping, sensational, popping to break loose. When I take you to the top, I'm gonna shoot you through the roof. Like that, y'all. I like this. I said I got something you don't wanna miss.
I like this, y'all, like that. I said it's getting too hot to kick back. I said I'm Disco Daddy, that is my name. And rapping to the beat is my claim to fame. I said my rapping is strong and my game is tough. And all night long I just talking this stuff. I said, hey, say what, say what? Just look at that great big button. I said shake that, don't break that. Just wrap it up and I'll take it. I said shake that, don't break it. Just wrap it up and I'll take it. To the beat, y'all, to the beat, y'all, to the big bad funky beat. Now it's a one-on-one and it's just for fun. I said a Disco Daddy has just begun. It's one-on-one and it's just for fun. If you ain't got no girl, you better get you one. They look so fine, they look so nice. That's what I like, that sugar and spice. So all the men and the women and the girls and boys, if you're ready to party, then make some noise. Now look at all the funky people rocking in the house. I said one thing's clear, there is no doubt. It's like a hot dog needs that sauerkraut. Well, I'm the funky MC that turns the parties out. Cause I got the gift and I got the knack. I said I'm giving it up and I'ma get it all back. I don't smoke no Sherman, don't smoke no wax. I'm just a hell of a man with a hell of a rap on the beat, y'all. I'm sick, y'all. Let's rock it to the beat, y'all. To the beat, y'all. To the beat, y'all. To the big bad funky beat. Now the music's so hot, I just can't kick back.
Get up,
I get down
to the rhythm of the rap.
Now you're grooving to the beat.
And you don't dare stop.
Just get on down.
And let's take it to the top.
To all the funky fly ladies as they hit the party.
I just get on down and rock that body.
Listen.
Woo! I haven't heard that version in a long time. That's the club version.
I know it is. It's 9 minutes long.
Ooh.
I would have been
boy.
sweating you all. I see my
There-
YouTube is coming in, y'all. Y'all, this is the legend. This is the legend. This is Disco Daddy, y'all. I think some of you or your mothers or your aunties or somebody, you danced to some of his music back in the day. We were just talking about, you got a red ballad, as they say on YouTube. Go back and find out all about Soul Train, you all. He was one of the OGs, the dancers in Soul Train. Now, let's get to the music part, if you
Right.
don't mind.
No, I don't.
All right.
That record,
So, go
okay,
ahead. Tell me about your
that
journey.
right there has a
Yes.
unique history of its own because from 73 to 79, no, from the birth of hip hop in New York, no radio station in the world would play West Coast rap records. A period very few people remember. You actually had to be from New York City to get a record played. Okay, some people changed that came along later, but I was the first West Coast artist to break the glass ceiling, and radio programmers all over the world started listening to the West Coast in 1981. So, wow, there's talent out there, and as they listen, they pick up the Toddy T's and Ice Cubes and
Yeah.
NWA and Dr. Dre's. See what I'm saying? The world class wrecking crew. All of this started because as a DJ, I was the #1 DJ from 76 to 79, a club called The Workshop. And that's how I made my name, Disco Daddy. And in 79, Rappers Delight came out, and I said I could do that. Now, remember I told you I'm from New York, so rappers always rhyme. And I mean, always rhymed. And but when Rappers Delight came out, I thought that's just an extended thing of rhymes. You know what I'm saying? And I said to him, and I had heard the other DJs, not DJs, but there was a comedian. Man, he did dirty stuff. He had a dirty rap record that had come out like 1980. I forget his name, but he's very famous. Blowfly. Blowfly. You Google Blowfly 1980 is dirty rap. And it was a cold beat, you know what I'm saying? But up until that point, I had never really heard a full-length rap record, but I had a copy of that as a teacher. Okay, and I played it. People danced to it. But when that came out, people on the buses and on the sidewalks, you hear them, you ever go over a friend's house to eat and the food is like no good, just music, but that's it hooking people, you know what I mean? And I said, wow. So I said I could do that. I quit my job at the Workshop and quit my job at Big Ben's, the biggest record store in California, where I had
I know about Big Ben's. Yeah.
I hosted all the in-stores there. I was the official DJ. Rufus, Shaka Khan, Ray Parker Jr., Phyllis Hyman. We interviewed them at my throne up there at the DJ stand. Then I took them down. They signed pictures and stuff. This is how we did in the 70s, 78, 79, 80s. I was the official DJ for them. But I quit all those jobs and I called my DJ friends. You been to Los Angeles?
Me, I've never been. No,
Okay.
no. I went somewhere. I forget
Okay.
where, but it was when I was a little girl. Go ahead.
Okay. Benz, he was started in Chicago, but he was the partner in the Warehouse record chain. It all over, but he started his own Big Ben's side business, but it was all part of the Warehouse label because Big Ben's was his first store in Chicago. He teamed up later with the people at Warehouse and became part of it. That's a long story. But anyway, I quit all my jobs and I called my friends, the Speakeasy, Carolina West, the DJs who were all part of the Southern California DJ Association. I said, I'm rapping. And let me come through and do some boom. So they let me come through and turn the place out because there was a period people just never seen a rapper. So they fascinated, first of all, to see somebody who could do this. And it's one record on the air at the time that the people are listening to, and to see somebody who could do that, and he's from LA, it may be pretty popular. So, and plus I was known as a DJ. That's all people always got to remember that because that helped me later on. I did that for 2 years, Dinky Joints, Quinceañeras, nightclubs, whatever. And in 1981, two things happened. KGFJ Radio had the first rap battle, and it was an experiment to see if people was calling to play this rap because it was also, as you know, a period where people thought was that fad, and even radio programmers, so AM 1230 KGFJ, they had a rap battle contest, and me and this cat named Trey, we beat everybody. And he looked like Prince. So I to this day, he could rap, but he looked like Prince to me at the time. And the girls screamed louder for him. Curtis Blow was the judge, but all he did was say, "Who y'all think is going to let the crowd pick the winner?" But he was there to draw the crowd. Naturally, Curtis Blow. They wanted to see if people would come out for this new rap. It was an experiment we laid out between KGFJ and the nightclub, which is 21 and over. Because drinks. Is this going to draw a type of crowd if our DJ starts playing this? And KGFJ, are people going to come out for this rap thing without? And it was packed.
Wow.
They
You
started
say
playing
this
the
rap thing? Is anybody
It
gonna
was-
deal with this rap thing?
It was so packed. They said, "Let's do this again next week."
Yeah,
Right, it wasn't
yeah.
20 weeks. So I came back the next guy that I was rapping against again. It's me and him, and I went back to my DJ days where I, did say things to get the crowd. He was never a DJ. And at the end of my rap, because we was both in the early days, rap battling wasn't like 8 Mile where you dissing the other person.
Yeah, yeah.
Did your flyest lines, like in the
Yes.
slam and the crowd screaming, the girls were screaming for this line or whatever. And you was judged on who had the flyest rhyme. That was a rap battle in the early days. Okay, not like the other person. You know what
Right.
you might say sucker MCs, all other suckers, like that. But you
Right.
people. So me and this person did that, and at the end of the line, I said, if the party's over here and the party's over there, everybody say hell yeah, and they exploded. That one line made the difference. Audience,
I see.
we
So it's legendary lines if you think about it, because
right.
like the roof
Party.
is on fire. You
Exactly.
remember that when you're younger, like, oh wow, I remember that.
Exactly.
I get it. So
Okay, so
actually, you
guy-
all were
guy
setting
rapped
trends back then and didn't even know it.
right. The guy I rapped against, a year later, he changed his name to Ice-T. Okay, if he had won that night, because that night that I won, the producer, this guy stepped up out the audience. His name was Duffy Hooks,
Yeah.
the third. He said, "I just moved here from New York. I've been working with Sylvia Robinson, and we just started our own rap label, Rappers Rap Disco Company. And we were here last week. Who was going to win? And we think you're pretty good. We'd like to sign you as the first artist to our rap label. So if Ice-T won, with all the great things that he's done, he'd also have the feather, which for many years people thought West Coast rap started with Ice-T. His career actually began like he battled me.
Okay, listen, Ice.
His Art of Rap video, and he says that's when my career actually began, because Curtis Blow came up to him afterwards in the first week and said, "You can rap, man." And he said, when Curtis told me that, he was trying to be a breakdancer.
Wow.
He was at the Radiotron, the club we all hung at. He was a breakdancer, and he was never a DJ. But when he won that night, he said, "I can do this." And the origin of Ice-T's career. It's in Rolling Stone magazine, 2015. They have August 2015. They have the full story. That's why you see that insignia at the bottom of my comment section. I can use that.
Yeah.
Direct quote. They did. I see the movie NWA came, and those young white editors of Rolling Stone say, "Wow, what was happening before NWA?" You see, there was no documented history, so they went online.
Right.
And they started, seeing who was some West Coast hip hop. They found out about me, and they did some research. Found out about the Carolina West because Ice alludes to it in his rap video. Never knew I was the cat who rapped against me, and years later we did things together. But the general public and the news media, Rolling Stone, never knew the history, and so they came out telling people that Ice-T's career began. It's in the heart verbatim. The night he battled Disco Daddy at the Carolina West.
Wait, listen, Ice. Listen, I'm coming for you. I don't want you to be mad at me, okay? Listen, I wasn't there. We all have to start somewhere, baby. So don't get mad at Mama Global, okay? Listen, he's the one. He's the one that did it to you, not me. He gonna be like, I'll be damned. He's still telling this story.
We recited the story in a couple of films and docs that we did together.
Yeah.
2015. In fact, we did a film called Go Hard that hasn't been released. And I made it to the Guinness World Records in 2014. Yes. And I took it to the set. And Ice-T, who I battled at the beginning of hip hop, signed my Guinness World Record, which is going to be a multi-million-dollar NFT. And it's a unique thing because it's only one of its kind. It's issued to you after you set a record. So me and him go back to the history of West Coast hip hop, and he's autographed my it got the date on there and everything, 2015. So there are certain moments in my life, and again, just to get back to music, when we cut that record, we were going up against what I had told you. Nobody's gonna play your record. You're West Coast. No
Wow.
West Coast
Yeah.
record has ever been on the radio anywhere until August 1981, and that's because KGFJ AM radio, not K-Day, Rick Mack later. I respect him. He's my friend. That was later though, 83, 84. They were first for our hip hop. But KGFJ was the first to play a West Coast rap record to the program.
Salute.
Yeah.
Salute. Well, for my
Don't
YouTubers
program.
that are just coming in, I want to play what I played at the beginning of the show in case you missed it. This is a little tribute to Disco Daddy. And let's see if we can pull that in.
That they work with, and that music that you hear coming from not the minds of Snoop himself. There are great producers who work with him, not Dre himself, although Dre is creative. But Dre relies a lot on great musicians who write great lyrics. You know, as you see, he works well with other people. You know, he makes himself or whatever because it's a monetary thing, but he's not obviously not the talent. It's Snoop that took him to Dre the Chronic to the top. You see what I'm saying?
I interviewed I interviewed Meshack Black from Chronic Magazine, and you know, he did most of the stories back then. And that's when I got so involved with the legends. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta find them all, every genre, everything. I gotta bring them on.
Dre to me is like the Quincy Jones of rap. Quincy can put albums out in his name, but all the great musicians, singers, and people arrangements that he comes up and mixes all these people together. You see what I'm saying? That's what makes albums hits. It's not Quincy Jones playing his trumpet like Miles Davis. You know what I'm saying? It's what he orchestrates for other people and knows how to genius of blending different. That's what Dre does in hip hop. Okay.
Let me ask you something. You said something about Guinness Book of World Records. Tell us about that.
Me and sometimes right time. Me and Nick Cannon, we got in. I was watching the news, and Samsung had come out with a new camera called the NX, and they wanted to promote it. So they were going to have a Guinness World Record event right next to the Chinese Theater to have the most selfies in 1 hour. Do that requires a whole lot.
Right.
So it was Guinness sanctioned, and I saw it on the news. I said, I'm going to go up there. I introduced my first time meeting Nick, and I introduced him as the first West Coast artist. He actually knew about me. And what's interesting is that my first record is called Gigolo Rap, and Nick Cannon's first record is called Gigolo. You see what I'm saying? My debut, we had a little thing in common there, you know, because if you go to YouTube and type Nick Cannon, that's his first rap that started making him popular. So and we found out you the first year disco that so he knew right away. So anyway, we went down on the street to get a whole bunch of people as tourists walking on Hollywood Boulevard. And they saw Nick Cannon. At that time, he was divorcing Mariah Carey, so he's on the news. And Nick Cannon said, "Yeah, we're trying to break the world record, Guinness World Record. Most selfies. Come on up, take pictures." So we got all these tourists to follow us up on the thing.
Oh my God.
Right. They all got a Guinness T-shirt and signed the book. And at the end, we broke the world. The official Guinness World Record was there. It was 283 people set by a Samsung and the 200. So I'm one of 283 people besides Nick Cannon who made it to the Guinness that day.
That is so neat. Oh my God, I love that.
Send me my
Wait, I saw your award and everything. I'm like, what in the world? Speaking of awards,
Snoop. Okay, let me
yes,
just.
go ahead.
Snoop just got in because he felt left out for having the tallest
Aw.
gin and juice. Ludacris got in by having 100 people in the shower. Okay, so all of the rappers except for Dre's got in because he's the first big. But everybody else in rap was doing something on the side, stupid like that, to get into the rap, but they got in.
I get it. Now, let me ask you something. Speaking of awards, what
Mhm.
have you won any other awards?
No. As far as just getting local awards from different people like that, I haven't gotten any major awards for anything that I've done musically or anything. But we are working on trying to do because I have a book coming out, and
Yes.
we're nominating myself, my people around me, nominated for a star in Hollywood Book Award, which is
Yeah.
actually something you pay for.
Really? I
Both of
never knew that.
you have to have something that you've done
Mhm.
actually. See what I'm saying? That if people looked at it and murdered it, and once you paid your money, they could say, "Well, is deserving. He's established something here in Hollywood, or whatever." Being the first West Coast person to have vinyl on is not a big thing, except in hip hop. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
So in hip hop music, and there are categories that you divide a film. If you notice the symbol in the middle of a Hollywood, whatever you've done in music, and if there are
Mhm.
people that you can verify, I'm verified by Rolling Stone and Billboard magazine. Okay, I couldn't be more. Billboard had an article, History of Rap. I think it was 1999. It was the first article I saw that plainly had a paragraph. It's called the article, History of Rap. In 1981, three things happened. Blondie made their record-breaking record with some rap in it, which introduced rap into the pop world, and the first to recognize rap as a musical influence. My record comes out in 81, the first West Coast rap record. Okay, there were it was a pivotal year, and also MC Shyrock and the Funky Four plus one more in New York appeared on Saturday Night Live in 19. Again, event Saturday Night Live, 40 million viewers. Certain events sparked the spread of hip hop all of a sudden from 81. That's why there was an explosion of great interest in the corporations came in and all that kind of stuff that happened.
Yeah, it just seemed like, it was like undercover. It was no
Hmm.
one really took it seriously, and then bam, it was everywhere, like
Everywhere.
overnight,
Right.
and I'm like, okay, now is this gonna be a fad, or is this really gonna, shake some things,
No,
in our cities? And I had no idea that it would be so impactful for
nobody.
for movies, for music,
Right.
for dance. I mean, it
Hip hop.
opened so many doors.
Hip hop is a culture. You can type in hip
Yes,
hop
it is.
Uganda and see some of the most fantastic dancing and creativeness that's from the rural people. You got hip hop Ghana, okay, and look
Yes.
what they're doing in bare feet. I mean, these young kids. So all of this is hip hop influence because even though they live in rural areas, they got access to the internet. They are basically connected to and envy what we have here in America. As far as you see what I'm saying, and
That is so true, because I have a lot of artists that get at me from Ghana and Nigeria, and especially Ghana, and
mhm,
I'm like, you guys, I know what you're doing. I
mhm,
said we originated it. I get it. That's why they love us so much.
so
It's
much.
because we open doors for them as well. You know what I'm saying? And they love our country. They
I'm
love
going.
our music. They
I'm
love
going.
our people, our
Yeah,
culture,
yeah.
everything. And I'm so glad that we're still connected to the motherlands like that. You know what I'm
You know,
saying?
Ghana has a program where blacks they welcome blacks there. Naturally, they don't, want you if you've been in front of the liquor store asking for change. But if you've accomplished something and you can bring something, they'll give you a piece of land,
Wow.
okay? And residents, look into that. Type in the Ghana, the
Mhm.
Chamber of Commerce. It's an open program where they advertise for Americans to come and live in Ghana. Help you if you have.
Yes.
They help subsidize those programs like that. So if you have American contacts, you're welcome there because you be another person who's helped spark their international trade in whatever you do, whether it's music or whether you sell stuff. I was going to move there and whatever land I could get, I'm going to grow organic because I'm a vegan. I'm going to grow, excuse me, I just ate. but I'm going to grow
Certificate.
organic vegetables for sale, not on the market, but to restaurants who serve high-end organic meals and need specially
Mm.
grown produce that small farms can specialize in. They want a certain type of tomato. They want
Right.
a certain brand or type of this lettuce. You see what I'm saying? Something that can be grown in Africa or fertile soil like that in a small
Yes.
piece of land, and I can make a profit because there are only certain restaurants that I'm dealing with, and it's a
Mm.
big market unless you start to contacting restaurants from London, all this.
Let me ask you something. Let me
Mhm.
ask you something as far as your organic foods. When did you start that and why did you start
So,
becoming
10 years ago,
Mhm.
because I felt that food is one of the things that I would have been a scientist if I hadn't gone into entertainment. I still
Yeah.
today Science Magazine, Discovery Magazine. I watch all the science shows. I was a nerd in school. Ended up having some talents that I discovered joining the Alfan Theatrical Ensemble at 13 or 14. And my mother knew Sidney Poitier and a lot of actors and stuff like that. I was influenced by
Yeah.
people around me. But I started 10 years ago because I always kept up with advances in food. And I was reading an article that they said longevity, um, they found in mice and animals that if they starve mice, not starve them, but limit their intake of food, they actually live longer. And that's been verified by every animal study. They don't
Really?
starve them, but like a meal a day. Like Elijah Muhammad used to tell the Muslims. It's funny how certain things you connect. One meal is the day is the optimum. In a way, that's true. The rest of the day, you should be drinking fluids and flushing yourself from what you ate the day before. Long as
You
your
know,
one
I've
meal,
heard that too.
right,
I
long as
have
your
heard
one meal
that. Yeah.
balanced with everything that you need as far as the carbohydrates, the plants and stuff that give you minerals and everything for your sustenance, then you're good till the next day. Unless you're an
Mm.
athlete or somebody who burns up. You see what I'm saying? Gets up.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? But for most normal people like yourself or me, you get up and go to work. You don't need a roast beef sandwich later or at lunch. You don't need to go to lunch and sit down and I'm just saying order donuts, and stuff throughout the day. You can do that if your main diet, like I said to myself, is organic and vegetable. I'll
I
still stop at Krispy Kreme, but it's not every day. I'll still
I
buy a
think
bag of Lay's potato chips, but my whole diet is vegetables that I drink. I never cook any of my vegetables. I have a NutriBullet, put all my greens in there. I take my greens and I freeze in a big plastic bag. Then I crush them up like a bag of potato chips after they're frozen. And they're easy to pour into my NutriBullet with my beets and carrots and everything else. You see what I'm saying? So I have a special way that I only eat. In fact, let me take you into my organic.
yes, I
We've
want to
gotten off track
see.
for a second, but for 10 years, it's the way I've been doing it. My blood pressure normalized. I have no health problems at all. And this is what I'm getting ready to cook for dinner. Organic white corn quinoa, organic black beans. All my spices are organic. Everything, even down to the smallest thing. The sugar and stuff that I do that I buy is organic. My olive oil, which is the thing that I do use, is organic. Okay, honey, all that kind of stuff. And I'll take you here to my other kitchen, organic blackberry fruit spread, marinara sauce for my organic uh, pastas that I
Hmm.
buy. Everything that I eat is organic if possible. You see what I'm saying? There's certain things
Yes.
you can, but in this day of Amazon, this is sauerkraut, organic, and sauerkraut is just like yogurt because it has probiotics in it, which keep
Hmm.
regular. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And people don't realize that certain things that are good for your digestive system, your immune system, is controlled from your gut. This is organic Quaker oats. A lot of people don't realize Quaker oats makes organic
I
products.
never knew that.
Okay,
Wow.
organic pastry whole wheat flour that I use. Frozen peas, but they're organic. Everything that I basically into for 10 years, I can tell people that I'm here talking to you, feeling like I'm in my 50s, and I'll be 72 in October. You see what I'm
72. Wow.
no but diabetes, no anything except arthritis in my big toe because I've been a dancer all my life.
You know what? One of my brothers, he's a dancer, and he had so much arthritis, and it was just from his years in dancing. So I believe that. Let
Yeah.
me ask you something. Was it hard to adjust to a vegan
The
lifestyle?
hardest thing, like for most Black people, is the giving up that fried chicken.
Yeah.
And the month I started, September 2010, they came out, Kentucky Fried Chicken, which I hadn't eaten in years, came out with boneless thighs. You can eat
Mhm.
the whole thing. And I said, wow, why would they do that right now when I'm trying to go meatless? Everything else, because I hadn't eaten pork in years, 30 years. So,
Yeah.
but the fried chicken and ground turkey, because like I said, I'm in the science. And I was reading Consumer Reports about 99% of ground in America is polluted with fecal material. So me and my lady stopped eating that. Then we were buying antibiotic-free chicken for a while. You see what I'm saying? I went that route, and then I said, I'm just going. She never did. But I said, I'm just going to go straight organic, because the more I read, most of the problems people have is caused by the animal fats that build up. And then again, eating. And we in a condition in America where you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You really don't really, and we pack it on at each meal, and then snacks in between. You know,
Yes.
and we really overeat if you think about it. Again,
Mhm.
an athlete, they have intake that's much different from a normal person. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
What they have
Right.
and everything like that. But if you're just like me and you're just burning burning things, calories sitting on the couch watching TV, or you're in front of the microphone or camera all day and you can't wait to get home to eat. You see what I'm saying? It's much different lifestyle. You might take a hike and do this, get on your bike once a week, doing something, but you really exercise should be like you eat a part of it. You see what I'm saying? And you burn
Yes.
and drinking a lot of water, you flush yourself out, you get lubricated. So I do that. I got weights here. You know what I'm saying? And I got a weight bench. Just show you how disco that is lifestyle. I got
Are you sure you're not in your 50s?
this is
Because
my
you're
weight
not acting like you're in your 70s at all.
bedroom, but I got a weight bench here that I'm putting together.
Wow.
And my weights are out here in the living room. I work out every day. Because
Wow.
you got to do that. These are my weights. I got a box of these.
Oh my God.
The weights, yeah.
No, you're in your
Here,
50s. I think you're lying.
I sit here in my solitude, and then this is a bar, a pull-up bar. Okay. And most people don't realize, I don't know if you can see that yet. Okay. Most people don't realize if you meet a bustle man, baby, and you want to really see how strong he is, don't be impressed by his muscles. Get him to a pull-up bar and say, how many pull-ups can you do? And most of the most buffest men that you meet, they're gonna shy away. Why you ask me something like that? Because the gauge of a man's strength is how many times he can pull his body weight up. Okay.
You know what? I
Yeah.
swear I'm going to
Only
do it.
bodybuilders know that. You see what I'm saying? But if you just meet some average guy who likes to flex, and you say you must go
Yeah.
to him to find out how strong he is, you get him to a pull-up bar and say, how many pull-ups can you
Wait,
do?
so they're perpetrating. They're perpetrating the fuck. They
If they
got us thinking
can't pull up,
they're
just
so
go make it
strong
sweat. They
and
can
virile, and they can't even pull
do
themselves up
one or
on a
two pull-ups.
bar.
Right. So that's the thing, I found out years ago because I was going to the gym and a bodybuilder told me that, he said you don't really need weights. All you need is like Herschel Walker. He did pull-ups and sit. One of the great
Pull-ups and
athletes.
sit-ups.
You know what I'm saying? Pull-ups and
No,
sit-ups.
I got to tell you this.
Mm.
This is so ironic. I call this divine orchestration.
Mm.
I was just talking to a young lady, and she has a weight loss, organic business. And I was setting up an interview for her to go into the magazine. And then I kid you not, this was just, I think, yesterday. I had taken a picture. It was going to be a before picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then, no kidding, 5 minutes later, I hadn't talked to this woman in I don't know how long, and I got an inbox to come and join her Zoom, and she's talking about weight loss and about organic food. I'm like, whoa, okay, this is kind of scary. So I listened to her. I was vibing with her, and then today they say things come in threes. So then today I'm interviewing you. You're saying the exact same thing. So I don't have to get hit over the head by the universe. I know.
Organic. The reason you want organic, not just eating vegetables, fruits, and stuff, which is all healthy, is because very few people. Let's say in the case of juice, You can buy some regular juice and could say 100%, but you don't know how much fertilizer residue,
Yeah,
how much
that's what I'm afraid of. And
residue.
I'd rather plant my own. I
Right.
I
That
trust me.
that's the top right there when you
Yep.
can do your own. You see what I'm saying? Which is why
Yeah.
I moved
Yeah.
to Africa, grow my own organic produce, but I would make some money on
Man.
it. You see, I would make some money off it. But the organic just simply means that it's been, if it has been truly organic, it's been grown without process with all those things that come in later.
Yes.
Fertilizer, the bug sprays, the things like the weed killers. You see what I'm saying? And all that residue gets into the soil and into the regular plants and fruit. So that's why everything, I even down to my spices, if you notice, they're all organic. It costs me more money,
Right.
but what I put in my body is priceless to me.
Oh, I like that. What
You
you
know,
put in
that's
your
it.
body is priceless.
It's priceless because unless you got a family to feed, I spend a lot of money on food. But you can type in on Amazon and find everything I can't even find in my organic market here in LA. Some of them, and then I have to drive around and see if there's it and call.
Yeah.
Got this, but Amazon sends me everything I need. It's all organic, and I can tell you the benefits of it. See, I'm cognizant. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
Right.
suffering any early dementia about anything. My memory is still good and everything.
Mhm.
And I work out. I have the energy to do those things. You see what I'm saying? Because don't clog my body with food. I drink a lot of this throughout the day. This is the most important thing. And I tell this to everyone, no matter what kind of diet you're on, whether you meat or you're vegan, this is the most important thing you can put in your body every day is water. Your body is about 9.
You know what? I didn't believe that until I got dehydrated. And then a doctor, he broke it down to me. He said, "You put oil in your car, right?" I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Yes, sir." He said, "You put gas in your car, right?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "If you don't put one of those in the car, what's going to happen?" I said, "It's not going to run." He said, "Exactly. You just said it." He said, "Everything in your body it needs water to
Water
survive.
to survive.
And
The
when you
cells
dry it out, it
right,
no longer works correctly."
right.
And
When your
that
cells
made so
clean,
much sense.
yeah, when your cells clean themselves and all your cells digest waste material and there's the system in your body to flush it out, get it through your liver and all the toxins. All it requires water. Your brain is 98% water. And a
Mm.
lot of people, the danger of dehydration, unless you're in the desert or out in the heat having heat stroke, most people don't know that they're dehydrated. They just feel
Yeah,
sluggish,
right.
through your normal day. I don't know what's wrong with me. I eat
I
something,
don't know what's
you're
wrong. I'm just
dehydrated.
tired. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
exactly. And if
Yeah.
there's no reason, it's simply because you're dehydrated. But it reached a level where your brain is feeling it, but your kidneys ain't signaling, go drink some water yet, because it ain't severe. You see,
And
but
when it's severe, then it's damn near too late. You know what I'm saying?
almost, yeah, because things could shut
Let, let me ask you this.
down.
And we're going to close out because I got to keep a few secrets for the magazine in
Okay.
July. I can't give it all away, y'all. I can't give
Okay.
it all away. But what is next for Disco Daddy?
Okay, I've created the Shine Awards, which is awards that the Soul Train is a promotional tool for us because we're still around and
Yes.
promote the Soul Train gang. But it also, we recognize individuals in the community that have done things, that are doing things, business leaders, political leaders. So, Soul Train family, you're going to see more about the Shine Awards. My YouTube channel, which is supposed to launch today, but I'm putting it back a week or two because there's a couple of interviews that I do that will be available only on my YouTube channel. And then plus stuff like this that you give to me, they'll be available on my YouTube channel, so people don't have to go down my timeline to find you where you made the post and all that. Everything that I do will be on the YouTube channel, and then you're going to see entertainment. You're going to see. I got some surprises for you guys. Kids, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I cannot wait. You know I cannot wait. This is going
Okay,
to be
all
like
revolve.
I'm going to keep teasing. I'm going to keep teasing until
Okay.
July. Like, ooh, have you went to the YouTube channel? Ooh,
Disco
have you
Daddy's
did
Wide
that?
World of Hip Hop and R&B. Disco Daddy's Wide World of Hip Hop and R&B. You'll see it posted on my timeline when I'm ready to launch. And the first show, we're going to have historic interviews with some historic people.
Wow, we cannot wait. We cannot wait. I want to give a shout out to my YouTubers. Thank you so very much for coming through. They are going to be sharing, and to the book as well. Thank you all. There is my assistant. I think she broke the share button as always. And yes, and so many other sisters as well. The queens have coming through. Thank you so much. Queen Pearl is here. And of course, Silly Gang. Silly Gang is here. She is a phenomenal comedian and love. And I see Derek Scott, you guys. Oh my goodness. We've got promoters, we've got producers, we've got comedians, we've got everyone coming on. All that I ask that you do right now, if you have not done it yet, go ahead and hit that share button, you guys, because this is truly, he is truly a legend.
I appreciate it.
We just want to say thank you so much for coming through. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I want to shout out to my grandkids if they're watching, Sonia and Danny Jr. visiting from Reno. I love y'all. I hope you got a chance to watch the show. Now, is this catalog archived someplace?
Yes, I'm actually going to save it for you, and I'll send it to you.
Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.
Wish you the best.
Oh, and thank you. You know I'm going to be staying in close contact because I got to come up there for some of those awards and all those good things, okay?
And if you need me, you call me.
I will. Thank you, King. Everybody give it up, you guys, for
Thank you.
You already know, Disco Daddy. Salute.
Thank you very much.
This has been such an honor, you guys. Such an honor. You know, we know hundreds, thousands of, rappers and hip hop artists from around the world. We know a lot of the legends out now. But how do we start out? I always say, in order to know where you're going, you got to give honor to where you came from, y'all. Yes, he was, and he is the father of West Coast hip hop, none other than who? You already know, Disco Daddy. Thank you so very much for tuning in, you guys. You already know I'm going to be bringing you the best of the best, either from the past or from the present or into the future, you guys. So, Mama's tired. I was up here disco dancing and all kind of stuff, okay? But let me go out with this. This is in honor of Disco Daddy, y'all. Bye-bye.